Welcome to the Spirit Soul Series podcast, and we're back with another episode. Supriya Chechi, and we're continuing the 11th chapter, 36th verse. And it's been a while, so we'll just go straight into the podcast. I'm going to do the incantation.
Okay.
Om
All right.
Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tatati Swapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kantha Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sudadevi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyscha Kripasindhubhya eva cha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवसादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवारधारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवारधारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय श्री भगवत
Okay. Jai Shri Prabhupada, Hare Krishna. So we are back with chapter 11, and we are at chapter verse 36, where Arjuna now starts responding after he's seen the universal form. So we have here, actually, the next 10 verses are just Arjuna's response. That's right, yeah. So shall we chant together 3 times?
yeah
Sanjaya Uva.
36 no
36. Oh, sorry, 36. Arjuna Uvacha. Yeah, right.
okay
Correct. Arjuna.
अर्जुन उवाच स्थाने ऋषिकेश तव प्रकीर्त्या जगत्प्रहर्ष्याति अनुराजयते च रक्षांसि भीतानि अदिशो द्रवन्ति सर्वे नमस्यन्ति च सिद्धसङ्गाः
Arjuna.
अर्जुन उवाच स्थाने ऋषिकेश तव प्रकीर्त्या जगत् प्रहर्ष्यति अनुराज्यते च रक्षांसि भीतानि दिशो द्रवन्ति सर्वे नमस्यन्ति च सिद्धसङ्गाः अर्जुन
Arjuna.
अवाच ताने
Sthane
ऋषिकेश तव
Rishikesha
प्रकीर्त्या
Jagat
जगत्प्रहर्ष्यति अनुराज्यते च रक्षांसि भीतानि दिशो द्रवन्ति सर्वे नमस्यन्ति च सिद्धसङ्गाः
Okay, translation. Uh, please read.
Arjuna said, O master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done.
Okay, so here we are told by the in the commentaries on this verse that the demigods and demons, they were watching from the higher planets in a higher realm of space, and Arjuna could see the demigods were happy and showering flowers, but the demons got frightened and they fled. They ran away. So that's what's being described here. See the purport? Arjuna, after hearing from Krishna about the outcome of the battle of Kurukshetra, became enlightened, and as a great devotee and friend of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he said that everything done by Krishna is quite fit. Arjuna confirmed that Krishna is the maintainer and the object of worship for the devotees and the destroyer of the undesirables. His actions are equally good for all. Arjuna understood herein that when the battle of Kurukshetra was being concluded in outer space, see, this is where in outer space there were present many demigods or siddhas, people who like perfected
Mm.
intelligence and intelligence of the higher planets, and they were observing the fight that was happening because Krishna was present there. So naturally they had interest. When Arjuna saw the universal form of the Lord, the demigods took pleasure in it, but the others, who were demons and atheists, could not stand it when the Lord was praised. Out of their natural fear of the devastating form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they fled. Krishna's treatment of the devotees and the atheists is praised by Arjuna. In all cases, a devotee glorifies the Lord because he knows that whatever he does is good for all. Okay, so it's not just Arjuna who's reacting to the universal form. It seems that there was this question that who all can see the universal form. We were told it's visible to Arjuna, it's visible to Sanjaya, because Sanjaya is supposed to convey everything
Divine
to Dhritarashtra. Who else was it visible to? To the demigods
demigod.
and to denizens of the higher planets. Now, we are told that the demons were also able to see it. So I'm not sure what the demons were doing in the higher planets. Yeah, I guess they were there in the higher planets. Uh, who went there just to enjoy to the heavenly planets, and who see the universal form and run away. Okay, this is a question that we need to ask, whether the demons, one wouldn't expect the demons to be up there in the heavenly planets, because you have to accumulate a certain amount of pious credit to be able to go to Swargaloka, and your motivation to go there is to just enjoy endlessly and live a longer life and so on. Now what are the demons doing there? That's a question, because this is something I need to check. You see, if they were watching this from above, they are obviously in one of the higher planets, higher than this material world. So how do they make it there? Do they also make it there despite having a demonic nature, because they just do so many austerities and so on, like Ravana did and Hiranyakashipu did? After all, even they, despite being born in Asuric background and demonic inclination, they got tremendous powers because of austerities that they did. So this
Mm.
is something we need to check. I'll just flag this, I'll just mark it. That do the demons also make it to the higher planets, right? I'll pose a question and see.
Oh, and that group, that thing, Think Gita group.
Could pose it there, because it's
Okay.
genuinely, it's something that
Yeah,
is flummoxed to me. It's not, I have not observed this earlier. How are they able to see? Because one would imagine the demons go to the lower hellish planets, no?
yeah. Mm.
Because of all their bad qualities and bad activities.
Mm.
At the same time, if you hear of different demons being thrown up, trying to confuse baby Krishna, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, where are they coming from? I mean, they were here in the material world when Krishna takes birth in Vrindavan and Goloka and all. Sorry, Gokul and Mathura, and where did they come from? Vritarasura, and then some other, the horse demon, and then the wind, the whirlwind.
Mm. They have like all interesting backstories, no? Some like
Yeah,
previous
someone.
births,
Yeah, yeah.
and there's a
Previous
curse,
birth.
previous births
Exactly.
and curses, and that they would be born in this particular way or something like that.
Yeah, Vritarasura was Chitraketu
Yeah,
earlier, right?
yeah,
And he laughed at, as it said in that
mm,
apology, that article.
yeah,
Okay. Anyway, it's something I'll see. I'll just go through some of the previous posts of this thing Gita and then
mm,
post it, see if it fits there.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Next verse.
Okay. Yeah. Kasmat chatena namairan mahatman gariyase brahmanopi adikatre ananta devasha
Anantadevesh
jagannivasa
Jagannivasa
tvam aksharam sad
Tvam
asat tat
Aksharam
param
Sat
yat
Asat Tatparam Yat.
kasmat
Okay.
na chate
Kasmachena Namiran
namiran
Mahatman
mahatman garishyase brahmano pi adi
Gariyase Brahmanopi
pi adikatre
Katre
ananta devesha
Anantadevesha
jagannivasa
Jagannivasa
tvam aksharam sad asat tat
Tvam
param yat
Aksharam
kas
Yat. Okay, once
kas
more.
kasmat
Kasmachena
chata namiran
Namiran
mahatman
Mahatman
gariyase brahmanopi adikartre ananta devesha jagannivasa tvam
Tvam
aksharam sad asat tat param yat
yeah, read the translation and the purport, please.
transition. O great one, greater even than Brahma, you are the original creator. Why then should they not offer their respectful obeisances unto you? O limitless one, God of gods, refuge of the universe, you are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation.
Okay, 1 minute. Oh, great one, greater than Brahma. Why then should they not offer their respectful obeisance unto you, meaning the demigods? O limitless one, God of refuge. You are the invisible cause of all causes. All right, this is just glorification, right? Just
Hmm.
repeating and this glorification. Okay, please read the purport.
By this offering of obeisances, Arjuna indicates that Krishna is worshipable by everyone. He is all pervading and he is the soul of every soul. Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Mahatma, which means that he is most magnanimous and unlimited. Ananta indicates that there is nothing which is not covered by the influence and energy of the Supreme Lord. And Devesha means that he is the controller of all demigods and is above them all. He is the shelter of the whole universe. Arjuna also thought it was fitting that all the perfect living entities and powerful demigods offer their respectful obeisances unto him, because no one is greater than him. Arjuna especially mentions that Krishna is greater than Brahma because Brahma is created by him. Brahma is born out of the lotus stem grown from the navel abdomen of Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, who is Krishna's plenary expansion.
Yeah.
Therefore, Brahma and Lord Shiva, who is born of Brahma, and all other demigods must offer their respectful obeisances. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that the Lord is respected by Lord Shiva and Brahma and similar other demigods. The word Aksharam is very significant because this material creation is subject to destruction, but the Lord is above this material creation. He is the cause of all causes, and being so, he is superior to all the conditioned souls within this material nature as well as the material cosmic manifestation itself. He is therefore the all great supreme.
Right. It's just straightforward glorification. Okay, Krishna is Mahatma. He is most magnanimous and unlimited. Ananta indicates there's nothing which is not covered by the influence and energy of the Supreme Lord. And Devesha means that he is the controller of. So these are superlatives, like adjectives that have been used here to describe Lord Krishna as part of Arjuna's continuing um, glorification. Ananta, meaning without an end, indicates that there is nothing which is not covered by the influence and energy of the Lord. Devesha means even the Devas consider him their Isha or their Lord.
Hmm.
Therefore, he's a shelter of the whole universe. And then you have this Aksharam. Kashara means to be something that can be destroyed. The word Aksharam is very significant because this material creation is subject to destruction, but the Lord is above. So he's Akshara, not Kshara. Okay, these are three terms that we can keep in mind. They're useful as part of our Bhagavad Gita vocabulary. Right, verse 38. Unless there's something you want to raise, can we proceed
Um,
to verse 38?
Yeah,
Is
I just one thought came like in all the like it's kind of amazing how like every word in the verses they all have like very like some really like expansive meanings behind it. Like
Mm,
every single word in the verse, like if you take like you can say
right.
like that like there's I think I'm not sure, but there's like some verses in the Gita also where I don't know which chapter it is, seventh or some chapters they have like Prabhupada breaks down like some each word of the verse, and he
Uh-huh.
says truthfulness is this, and then
Ah, right.
non-violence that like that he'll mention
Right.
like
Right.
like
Mm,
so yeah, like if you like you could even spend like many hours just focusing on one word and like
mm.
breaking it down further and all that stuff. So that's the only
Correct.
thing.
Yeah. Or discussing or describing and
Yeah.
applying it. That's what Prabhupada does in that purport. He gives rather original and unique definition sometimes.
Mm.
Like the way he describes non-violence, uh,
Yeah.
would ahimsa. One
Ahimsa.
normally consider non-violence meaning not causing hurt and harm, not being violent to living entities, but that's not how he does it. He says non-violence, according to him, violence. How he defines it, violence is to deny people spiritual knowledge,
Mm.
do not give them access to knowledge of their true identity and the true purpose of this human life. He feels that is like real cruelty and violence, rather
Mm.
unique definition, like that. So you're right to point out that cluster of verses
Mm.
in chapter 7 where in the purport he just goes on one paragraph for each one. Okay, verse 38.
Uh, Tvam adi devaः
Purusha
पुरुषाः पुराण
Puranas
त्वम्
Tvamas
आस्य विश्वस्य
Vishwasya
परं निधानम् वेदासि वेद्यं
Asvedya
च परं च
Jadhama
धाम त्वया ततं
Vaitatam
विश्वम् अनन्तरूप
Vishwamanantarupa. Again.
त्वम् आदिदेवाः
Adideva
पुरुषाः
Purusha
पुराण
Puranas
त्वम्
Tvamas
आस्य विश्वस्य
Vishwasya
परं निधानम्
Nidhanam
वेदासि वेद्यं च
Vedasvedya
परं च धाम
Jadhama
त्वया
Tvaya
ततं
Tatam
विश्वम् अनन्तरूप
Vishwamanantarupa. Again.
त्वम्
Tvam
आदिदेवाः
Adideva Purusha
पुरुषाः पुराण
Puranas
त्वम् आस्य
Asya
विश्वस्य
Vishwasya
परं
Param
निधानम्
Nidhanam
वेदासि
Vedasi
वेद्यं
Vedyam
च परं च
Param
धाम
Dhamma Tvaya
त्वया ततं
Tatam
विश्वम् अनन्तरूप
Vishwamanantarupa. Okay, you're the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. Yeah, ultimate sanctuary, right? Param Nidhanam. Nidhanam is a refuge. You are the knower of everything, right? And you are all that is noble. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes, O limitless form. This whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. So the purport, everything is resting on the supreme personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is the ultimate rest or shelter. Nidhanam means that everything, even the Brahman effulgence, rests on the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. The Brahman effulgence, sorry. So he is the knower of everything that is happening in this world, and if knowledge is any end, he is the end of all knowledge. Therefore, he is the known and the noble. He is the object of knowledge because he is all pervading, because he is the cause in the spiritual world. He is transcendental. He is also the chief personality in the transcendent world. Now, he's all knowing because we are told, we were early on in one of the early chapters we were told how um, we know what's happening within ourselves. But Krishna as Paramatma knows what's happening inside everybody. So
Mm.
therefore he's all knowing. He knows what someone else is thinking. He can direct them to do something that what we need, because we know he knows sitting inside us that we desire something. In this way he controls all our interaction. Sometimes book distributors will tell you, I hadn't sold a single book and I was really desperate, and I was kind of praying that how am I going to go back to the temple with this bag still full and be standing here in this freezing cold some European country. And then out of the blue, somebody who's just rushing to catch a tram turns and says, "You have anything to sell?" Or, like, what is it? Is it something interesting? And that way, because it's Krishna inside that person, directing him or her to take a book. And they don't take just one, but they take a whole set, or say, "Here is my card, you can leave it, I don't want to carry all of it, I'm giving a donation straight away." So this is happening because Krishna is uh, as super soul is directing from inside that person to answer the desperation of this book distributor here. Especially in book distribution, they get like live experiences of how Krishna is there everywhere, controlling everything. They have like such great stories to tell. Okay, so right, he's going on with the glorification. The next verse. Uh,
Yeah, 39. वायुर्यमोऽग्निर्वरुणः शशाङ्काः प्रजापतिस्त्वं प्रापितामहश्च नमो नमस्तेऽस्तु सहस्राकृत्वाः भूयोऽपि नमो नमस्ते
again.
वायुर्यमोऽग्निर्वरुणः शशाङ्कः प्रजापतिस्त्वं प्रपीतमाहश्च नमो नमस्तेऽस्तु सहस्राकृत्वाः भूयोऽपि नमो नमस्ते
Again.
वायुर्यमोऽग्निर्वरुणः शशाङ्कः प्रजापतिस्त्वं प्रपीतामहश्च नमो नमस्तेऽस्तु सहस्राकृत्वाः पुनश्च भूयोऽपि नमो नमस्ते.
Okay. Please read the translation.
You are air and you are the supreme controller. You are fire, you are water, and you are the moon. You are Brahma, the first living creature, and you are the great grandfather. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times and again and yet again.
Okay, purport.
The Lord is addressed here as air because the air is the most important representation of all the demigods, being all pervasive. Arjuna also addresses Krishna as the great grandfather because he is the father of Brahma, the first living creature in the universe.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, these 10 verses are fairly straightforward until this point because there's no change of mood. Okay, now after reading 40, then in 41 and 42, we'll require more discussion. So let's complete 40 and then be getting to 41 and 42. Nama
Namaha Purushtad Ataprishtataste Namostu Te Sarvata Eva Sarva Ananta Viryamita Vikramastam Sarvam Samapnosi Tatosi Sarvaha Namaha Purushtad Ataprishtataste Namostu Te Sarvata Eva Sarva Anantaviryamitha Vikramastvam Sarvam Samapnoshi Tatosi Sarvaha Namaha Purustat Ata Prishtathaste Namostu Te Sarvata Eva Sarva Anantaviryamitha Vikramastvam Sarvam Samapnoshi Tatosi Sarvaha.
Obeisances to you from the front, from behind, and from all sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless uh, might. You are all pervading, and thus you are everything. Okay, out of loving ecstasy for Krishna, his friend, Arjuna is offering his respect from all sides. He's accepting that he is the master of all potencies and all prowess and far superior to the great warriors assembled on the battlefield. It is said in the Vishnu Puran, Yoyam Tavagato Deva Samipam Devata Ganaha Satvam Eva Jagat Shrashta Yatha Sarvagato Bhavan. Whoever comes before you, even if he be a demigod, is created by you, O Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, because He is the source of everything. Right? This is something additional that Srila Prabhupada is giving from the Vishnu Puran. Okay, now 41 and 42 are famous because they're like borderline bhakti verses.
Okay.
There's a whole change of mood after all the awe and reverence and wonder and maybe bewilderment is over, but the wonder and astonishment that Arjuna was expressing, he strikes a personal and intimate note, uh, repenting or regretting in one sense the loss of that easy informal friendship he had with the Lord and craving to go back to that equation. So these are famous verses. Let's chant. Saketi
सखेति मत्वा प्रसाभं यद् उक्तं
prasam
हे
he
कृष्ण हे यादव हे
sake
सखेति अजानता महिमानं तवेदं मया प्रमादात् प्रणायेन वापि
and no, let's just do 41 first three times and then
ओके
move
ओके
to 42. Saketi
सखेति मत्वा
matva
प्रसाभं
prasam
यद्
yat
उक्तं हे
he
कृष्ण हे यादव हे
sake
सखेति अजानाता महिमानं तवेदं मया प्रमादात् प्रणयेन वापि
once more. Saketi
सखेति मत्वा
matva
प्रसाभं
prasam
यद्
yadu
उक्तं हे
he
कृष्ण हे यादव
yadava
हे
he
सखेति
sake
अजानात महिमानं तवेदं
Maya
मया प्रमादात् प्रणयेन वापि
Okay, next verse. Let's chant because the translation and purport is together. So we'll chant this. Yat
यच्च चावः सार्थम्
asakritos
असत्कृतोऽसि विहारशय्यासना भोजनेषु एकोतावापि अच्युता तत्समाक्षं तत्क्षमाये त्वम् अहम् अप्रमेयम् यच्छावहासार्थम् असत्कृतोऽसि विहारसायासना भोजनेषु एकोतावापि अच्युता तत्समाक्षम् तत्क्षमाये त्वम् अहम् अप्रमेयम् यत् यच्छावहासार्थम् असत्कृतोऽसि विहारशय्यासनभोजनेषु एकोतावापि अच्युता तत्समाक्षं तत्क्षमाये त्वम् अहम् अप्रमेयम्
Yam. Okay. Thinking of you as my friend, right? I have rashly addressed you, O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, not knowing your glories or greatness. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. See, I have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay on the same bed, sat or ate together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. O infallible one, please excuse me for all those offenses. Right?
forgiveness.
Yeah. Asking forgiveness for taking liberties. At the same time, there's like he's um, regretting the loss of that easy friendship, no? Right. Please read the purport.
Although Krishna is manifested before Arjuna in his universal form, Arjuna remembers his friendly relationship with Krishna and is therefore asking pardon and requesting Krishna to excuse him for the many informal gestures which arise out of friendship. He is admitting that formally he did not know that Krishna could assume such a universal form, although Krishna explained it as his intimate friend. Arjuna did not know how many times he may have dishonored Krishna by addressing him, "Oh my friend, oh Krishna, oh Yadava," etc., without acknowledging his opulence. But Krishna is so kind and merciful that in spite of such opulence, he played with Arjuna as a friend. Such is the transcendental love reciprocation. Such is the transcendental loving reciprocation between the devotee and the Lord. The relationship between the living entity and Krishna is fixed eternally. It cannot be forgotten, as we can see from the behavior of Arjuna. Although Arjuna has seen the opulence in the universal form, he cannot forget his friendly relationship with Krishna.
Actually, even in rasa theory or bhavas, like different moods in which devotees reciprocate with the Lord, deal with the Lord, there is something called sthai bhav, or the original bhav which doesn't change. I mean, it may go through some temporary changes, and it's different for each one of us, and we are happy with that. And the highest of these is supposed to be the conjugal rasa of the conjugal bhav, which is madhurya. That is not to say that each one of us has to suddenly, even if we have a different feeling, which we eventually discover through a process of lot of service and so on, is revealed to us, that we have to try for madhurya bhav, because that's not the meaning. It's each person is individually different, and each one has a different inclination, a different way of relating to the Lord. So if you tell Yashoda Maya or Mother Yashoda that madhurya is the highest, and therefore you who's now
Hmm.
feeling vatsalya and you are treating
Yeah,
us,
it won't make sense to her.
it won't make sense,
Yeah.
because though madhurya is the highest, she is not going to get the highest pleasure if she's artificially suddenly put into like some kind of space capsule and transmitted into that bhava. So here for Arjuna it is Sakhya Ras or Sakhya Bhav. That's a mood of friendship
Hmm.
that got disturbed because of the stimulus of the universal form. It just it happens even in our daily interactions, even with ordinary other people. You will see at a mundane level also, like sometimes parents whose child is, say you were in Bangalore and then you're coming back, and you give them a particular date, and then you happen to show up 2 days before the date, so they are surprised, not agha surprised. Then there's slight irritation and anger. Why didn't you tell us you're coming today? We finished lunch and there's nothing. Then it goes back to that original warmth and parental affection. They feel, oh, finally you reach safely. You're going to be here for the next 6 months. So like this, then again some other element may come in. They hear you've blown up all your money, for example, and they are angry, and that anger overtakes. But eventually it goes back to that parental concern and parental forgiveness, or parental desire to help you out with your money, even if your money is all gone. So like that, we will find that everywhere there is a kind of foundational mood, and much of good communication. If we watch ourselves, why often there are tips and fights? You just watch yourself in daily dealings. Most of the time there is what is called like a clash of moods.
Hmm.
Someone is saying something, maybe lightly and jovially, and we give a very serious reply.
Hmm.
The whole communication just breaks down, or it just
Yeah.
comes to a halt, or the reverse.
The ego gets hurt in that
Yeah,
moment.
ego gets hurt. That's another
And
way of
move
putting it.
on.
Or someone is trying to convey something very seriously, and the other person just takes it very lightly and say, oh, you don't understand, you don't get the point at all, it's far more serious, and then we just walk away from there. And lot of very successful communication depends on, as what they say, really hearing or listening
Hearing,
to
listening.
the subtext, not just the text of what they are saying, the subtext also. Somebody keeps harping on a point and you say, you said it so many times, and then you realize actually they are worried for themselves, they are repeating
Hmm.
a particular incident involving someone else, but the subtext is they're worried the same thing might happen to them.
Hmm.
Somebody is fallen, broken a leg. This is like common syndrome with when you're living with an aged parent. Some other friend, they said, okay, that was her, you told me so many times. Then you suddenly get it that actually they are asking for some reassurance that it won't happen to them.
Hmm.
So the more we listen to the subtext of what people are trying to convey, we can make our communications very successful. This is easy to say,
But it's very
but
difficult to do
very
because
difficult,
in the
especially, yeah, go on.
as a no actually sorry to interrupt you actually, but the thing is, yeah, like sometimes when you have discussion, even family members, sometimes it can be like a disagreement on one small thing, uh, where like something you say one thing, the other side like your family will say one thing, and then nobody will want to hear the other person. They'll just want to keep shouting and
Yeah, 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 yeah.
getting upset, and at the end people will say like, oh, you just got upset, or you're you can't take it, you can't take a joke, or you can't do this, you can't do that. So then when it becomes like, when it escalates, then people will start like mocking the other person,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they'll
yeah.
start saying, they'll calling them names, and they'll say things like that to denigrate them,
It gets
and then
worse, worse and
gets worse
worse.
like that. Yeah, so that's what happens normally. And then after that there'll be like a pause. Nobody will talk for some time. Then something will happen, and then they'll be forced to like meet, and then they'll say like, okay, fine. This what used to happen like to me in school or college, or even now recently things have changed obviously, but like before, I don't know about you, however the same thing happened to you also, but
Yeah,
like before, if I got into like, if somebody had like a disagreement with me, or if I had disagreement with them, I would like, try to make my point clear, the other person might try to make his point clear or her point clear, and then we'll not talk after some time, and then something will happen, then we'll talk again. And then, but now I feel like, it's like, if I get to the minute I realize that I'm getting like angry or something, no, somehow I'm able to like remember, okay, this anger is because I'm attached to something. What am I attached to in that moment? Like, if we are discussing something about some, I don't know, it could be anything, but if I'm getting angry, I'm like, oh, it means that I'm attached to something, and that attachment is, this person is like talking about the attachment of mine, like without actually talking about it. He's talking about something that I'm attached to, and he or she's probably insulting it or saying something bad about it, or that's what's causing me this anger. So I need to let go of the attachment first of all. I need to like just put it on the side and
just one,
regulate it like a bit.
just a timely intervention. You may also just be attached to your opinion of an issue.
Yeah, anything. It could
No?
be. It's basically the attachment of some. You're attached to something. That's what's causing that. That's what's causing that issue. Like if you weren't attached to, like for example, like if somebody were to, like if you were in the house, but if say like somebody, you heard somebody say something, like insulted your neighbor, for example,
Yeah.
like in your building, if they insulted your neighbor, you might feel like, okay, that's a bad thing to say, but you won't feel like offended, because unless that person, if the person insults like your mother or your family and all that stuff, then it's a totally different situation. Then you'll be like, hey, how can you say that? And then you'll start defending, you'll defend your mother, and you'll start saying like, you can't say this and that and all that stuff. So it's like, but at the same time, that comes from a certain type of like, okay, we're all attached to our family in one sense, and without that, whether we like it or not, we are attached to that family relationship and that dynamic and all stuff. So because of the attachment, we will get like, there will be like an anger that will come
Sure.
eventually. And so,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
because we don't have the attachment for the neighbor's family, we're not going to think too much. Like, okay, we'll feel bad, like we'll feel like this person shouldn't say that, but it'll go away. Similarly, like, with everything, like if you're getting angry, it means that there is some attachment to something, and then
Definitely, definitely.
you can try to get rid of it. Yeah,
Attachment, and also it's a lot of the time I think we have this idea that everyone else must think the same way we think.
same way we think. Yeah,
You know,
but that's not the that one. But that's never the case actually. Because
yeah,
it's so amazing. Like I like for me, like I like I'll be reading. Let's say like I'll be reading the Gita, or I'll be like, we'll do this sessions and all that with my
right,
family and stuff. Everybody will have like a different perspective
right.
on one thing, um and like, it's very different, like it's very like interesting to hear a different perspective, and you're
Uh-huh.
like, okay, like, I understand, like, this that, but then people are like, they're coming at, they're looking at it from from their experiences that they've had in their life basically.
Uh-huh.
So
Right,
that's
right,
what's
yeah, exactly.
that's forming that thing basically. Yeah.
Most of the time we are looking from something from our experience, whether it's,
Mm.
the discussion is about a particular family, a relative,
Uh,
somebody who's had a very positive experience with that lady or that person, the man will say positive things. But
mm.
if we felt manipulated, or we were
Yeah, then we won't feel. Yeah.
put down by that person, then we think everyone else must think like us. That's where these clashes start. We keep repeating our experience and our, it's actually very, like, family interaction falls into a rut.
Mm.
It's there's a familiar pattern. We know if we say one thing, the other person will say something, then we will say. It's really the trap of Maya, this ichadvesha samuttena, what in the Bhagavad Gita, you like and you don't like, or raga dvesha, same thing comes up, you like, you don't like, and we just trapped in this
Mm.
ding dong battle. It's very tough to get over it. And Prabhupada says that you come to know who is a fool the minute he opens his mouth.
May open the mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so telling. It is so really true, because when we start talking, because we get carried away by our emotions, and as you said, things we are attached to, we talk rubbish. Which,
Mm.
and then once things are said, we just say more and more,
Say more and more.
especially in heated arguments. Yeah,
It's
and it's
I'm learning. I don't know if, but I'm learning how to be like a bit um like silent in those situations. Like
aha,
if I feel like I'm getting angry, I'll try to just be silent and then see how it helps to counteract
see,
that feeling in that moment. And sometimes it's good, like and it's like you don't have to. At least like I've realized, like you don't have to win every single battle. It's fine.
absolutely.
You can lose. You can. It's fine if you lose one. If you lose battle. If you like, if you look at it as like, oh, I'm waging war against this person. Like today, I have to defeat this person in an argument, and I have to win the argument. If you think in like that, then you'll always, yeah, you'll suffer a lot. You'll think negatively. Sometimes it's like one negative thought will stop you from doing something for like a decade, but just one positive thought, no, will can make you like can make you start acting and then do something quickly and all that stuff. Like, if you think like you are they are not if you think you're not capable of doing something, and if you keep thinking like that, then it can make you not do anything one day, then 2 days, and then becomes a month, then like couple of months, a year, 2 years, decade, like that, and you won't do anything at the end. And then, but if you keep thinking, no, I tomorrow will be better, tomorrow will be good, tomorrow will be nice, like that. If you think like that, then at least you'll do something. Something you'll work towards it. You'll have a positive mindset. Yeah, this is all just to say that that don't think good thoughts, think positive thoughts, and don't
Yeah,
get
yeah.
angry
Yeah,
about
and
those
the
things. Yeah.
tongue, of course, the recommended procedure to control the tongue is chanting and prasadam. Try
Prasad.
and eat food that has been offered, because it's very tough to control the tongue, and it
Yeah,
gets us into so much trouble, unnecessary.
Arjuna says, no, the sixth chapter, like the mind is more difficult to control than the wind, I feel, so. It's
Correct,
very
correct.
true because it keeps spinning in like
That's
some
right.
all, and it's a scientific study that says that the average human mind has like 70,000 thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
60 to
Right,
7.
right.
So
Gosh,
in a day,
God,
so we end up thinking so much, and
absolutely.
out
Just
of that, yeah, out of that, majority are negative in nature. So it's
yeah.
even.
And this what goes on in the mind is what usually comes rolling off the tongue, isn't it?
Yeah.
If we are not able to control our mind and we like it's spinning, then someone asks us a fairly straightforward innocent question and the response is so totally out
Hmm.
of proportion to the question, is because something else is happening in
Something
our
in the
mind.
mind. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
43. Pitasi lokasya characharasya
पितासि लोकस्य चराचरस्य त्वम्
अक्षस्य
आस्य पूज्यश्च
अस्मभूयश्च
गुरुर्गरीयान्
ज्ञान
न त्वत्समोऽस्ति
नत्वत्समस्ति
अभ्यादिकाः कुतोऽन्यो लोकात्रयेऽपि अप्रातिमा
लोकात्रयेऽपि
प्रभाव पितासि लोकस्य चराचरस्य त्वम् आस्य पूज्यश्च गुरुर्गरीयान् न त्वत्समोऽस्ति अभ्यादिकाः कुतोऽन्यो लोकात्रयेऽपि अप्रातिमा प्रभाव
again.
पितासि
Pitasi
लोकस्य
lokasya
चराचरस्य
charasya
त्वम् आस्य
tvasi
पूज्यश्च
jasya
गुरुर्गरीयान् न त्वत्समोऽस्ति
natvasti
अभ्यादिकाः कुतोऽन्यो लोकात्रायेऽपि अप्रातिमा प्रभाव
right? You are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipable chief, the supreme spiritual master. No one is equal to you, nor can anyone be one with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the three worlds, O Lord of immeasurable power? This aprameyam means something that this last word in the last shloka we read, that is 42. Oh, so apramayam actually referred to it. Now here in 43, where does the apratima prabhava? Right, the last word here also. It's repeating that point. O Lord of immeasurable power, can't measure. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is worshipable as a father is worshipable for his son. He is a spiritual master because he originally gave the Vedic instructions to Brahma, and presently he is also instructing Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Therefore, he is the original spiritual master. And any bona fide spiritual master at the present moment must be a descendant in the line of disciplic succession, or otherwise what's called parampara. Without being a representative of Krishna, one cannot become a teacher or spiritual master of transcendental subject matter. Okay, please read the rest of the purport. The Lord is being paid.
Yeah. The Lord is being paid obeisances in all respects. He is of immeasurable greatness. No one can be greater than the Supreme Personality of God Krishna, because no one is equal to or higher than Krishna within any manifestation, spiritual or material. Everyone is below him. No one can excel him. This is stated in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, chapter 6, text 8. न तास्या कार्यं कारणं च विद्यते न तत्समाचाभ्यादिकाश्च दृश्यते. The Supreme Lord Krishna has senses and a body like the ordinary man. But for him, there is no difference between his senses, his body, his mind, and himself. Foolish persons who do not perfectly know him say that Krishna is different from his soul, mind, heart, and everything else. Krishna is absolute, therefore, his activities and potencies are supreme. It is also stated that although he does not have senses like ours, he can perform all sensory activities. Therefore, his senses are neither imperfect nor limited. No one can be greater than him, no one can be equal to him, and everyone is lower than him. The knowledge, strength, and activities of the Supreme Personality are all transcendental. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 9, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैति मम एति so Arjuna. Whoever knows Krishna's transcendental body, activities, and perfection after quitting his body returns to him and doesn't come back again to this miserable world. Therefore, one should know that Krishna's activities are different from others. The best policy is to follow the principles of Krishna, that will make one perfect. It is also stated that there is no one who is master of Krishna. Everyone is his servant. The Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 5, text 142, confirms Ekale Ishvara Krishna Arasa Bhavritya. Only Krishna is God and everyone else is his servant. Everyone is complying with his order. There is no one who can deny his order. Everyone is acting according to his direction, being under his superintendence. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, he is the cause of all causes.
Okay, this is just elaborate purport, driving home the point that Arjuna is making. That Arjuna is suddenly become, after the universal form, he's become aware of Krishna's greatness and supremacy. So this is a continuing description of that. Right. Shall we try and do verse 44 also, because it's
Yeah.
fairly straightforward. This, yeah. Tasmat
तस्मात् प्रणम्य प्रणिधाय कायं
prasad
प्रसादाये त्वम् अहम् ईशाम् इद्यम् पितेवा पुत्रस्य सखेव साक्युः प्रियाः प्रियायारसि देवसोदुम् तस्मात् प्रणाम्य प्रणिधाय कार्यम् प्रसादाये त्वम् अहम् ईशाम् इद्यम् पितेव पुत्रस्य सखेव साक्युः प्रियाः प्रियायारसि देवसोदुम्
Once more.
तस्मात्
Tasmat
प्रणाम्य
pranamya
प्रणिधाय कायम् प्रसादाये त्वम् अहम् ईशाम् इद्यम् पितेव पुत्रस्य सखेव साक्युः प्रियाः प्रियायारसि देवसोदुम्.
Okay, please read the translation and the purport.
You are the Supreme Lord, to be worshipped by every living being. Thus I fall down to offer you my respectful obeisances and ask your mercy. As a father tolerates the impudence of a son, a friend the impertinence of a friend, or a husband the familiarity of his wife, please tolerate the wrongs I may have done you. Pur- uh,
Okay.
Purport.
Yeah,
Krishna's,
Krishna's.
Krishna's devotees relate to Krishna in various relationships. One might treat Krishna as a son, or one might treat Krishna as a husband, as a friend, or as a master. Krishna and Arjuna are related in friendship. As the father tolerates or the husband or master tolerates, so Krishna tolerates.
Right. So now it is kind of next mood that set in. Arjuna is asking for forgiveness for wrongs that were done unknowingly and liberties that were taken unwittingly. He didn't mean to offend, but so he's asking for forgiveness, asking, giving these examples like a father tolerates the rudeness or the impertinence or impudence of a son, a friend that of another friend, husband, the familiarity of his wife. Please tolerate the wrongs I may have done you. Right. Now, after this, we'll stop here because after this, Krishna Arjuna is not just stopping with asking with the apologizing and asking forgiveness. Arjuna is going to put forward a demand, which is quite interesting, a request rather, not a demand, to see a Krishna in his original form. So we'll tackle that next time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we stop
Okay.
here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks, sir.
Thank you. And